Well, we live in dangerous times. The prospect of nuclear war, global economic depression and famine are all openly discussed as distinctly possible within the next few years. At times like this, not only do we need good leaders, of which there is a shortage, and I'll get to that in a minute, but we also need to be wary of who might steer us into one or all of these catastrophic crises. Is it this bloke, Chinese President Xi Jinping, who has promised to take Taiwan, starting a war in the Pacific that isolates us in resource-rich Australia from our military ally, the United States? Is it this bloke, Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has sent tens of thousands of young men to die in Ukraine, destroyed half that country and might just launch a nuclear weapon on Europe to prove his machismo? Or is it this guy, US President Joe Biden, who mumbles into microphones, shakes hands with imaginary friends and laughs at any journalist who asks about the mounting evidence that he's been trousering kickbacks from despots for decades? No, it's none of them. For a start, Biden is too doddery to be taken seriously by anyone. As for the other two, Xi and Putin, they know that their expansionist goals will be met with considerable resistance. They can only achieve them through stealth, not through global unity. Xi's meetings at the G20 in Bali overnight were testament to that. For all his nerdy aggression, he's still exercising diplomacy. And Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese deserves credit for scoring a meeting with Xi in Bali tonight, which will hopefully lead to China dropping its $20 billion worth of trade sanctions against us. But even if it does, it will do little to reduce the damage that will probably be caused by this bloke, unelected British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. His global agenda is almost as deluded and destructive as Putin and Xi's, but he has 10 times the influence, and he has the morality of the zeitgeist behind him. Here he is at COP27 last week, announcing he will give away £11.6 billion, that's 20.4 billion Australian dollars, of British taxpayers' money to other countries.
Central to all our efforts is honouring our promises on climate finance. I know that for many, finances are tough right now. The pandemic all but broke the global economy. And before coming here today, I spent last week working on the difficult decisions needed to ensure confidence and economic stability in my own country. But I can tell you today that the United Kingdom is delivering on our commitment of £11.6 billion. And as part of this, we will now triple our funding on adaptation to £1.5 billion by 2025. But let me tell you why. First, I profoundly believe it is the right thing to do.
Notice his subtle claim to the moral high ground and the way the, quote, difficult decisions to ensure economic stability in Britain, unquote, are not as imperative as giving money to other countries under the guise of climate finance. This isn't climate finance, it's grift. Where does his profound belief come from? Well, it comes from here.
Or look at the devastating floods in Pakistan, where the area underwater is the same size as the entire United Kingdom. When you see 33 million people displaced, with disease rife and spreading through the water, you know it is morally right to honour our promises.
The floods in Pakistan are the fault of developed nations? Are you kidding?